First, the relentless rain in some parts of Australia has been perfect for white ants, and homeowners need to be vigilant. But you're about to meet a woman who had no idea her house was under attack until it was almost eaten away. The damage is mind-boggling.
Just heartbreaking to think that it's done so much damage.
So how would you describe this overall scenario?
Horrific.
It's hard to believe something so small can cause so much damage.
In your experience, how serious is this particular case?
This is a very serious case.
In so little time.
You're looking at least 12 months.
What's even harder to comprehend is how a person could continue to live here with such an obvious termite infestation.
We thought we had great tenants.
The landlord says no one told her it was there.
We had problems with an oven, we fixed that. Nothing has been mentioned about termites.
It should have been prevented by early action, early intervention.
Termites are a nightmare for every homeowner, as Peter Fergus and her family recently discovered.
What did you think when you walked in here today?
I couldn't believe it, we're devastated.
Peter's sister has been renting out the 2-bedroom townhouse to a tenant for the past 2 years.
This is our first inspection that we could get to, and to walk in and see that is just, it's terrible.
A massive termite nest attached to a wall between the dining room and laundry.
So you had no idea?
No, none whatsoever.
Behind the nest, inside the wall, thousands of white ants devouring the timber framework.
Those little fellas are certainly busy.
Steve Annell from Dunright says it's one of the worst he's ever seen.
Well, this would have been a bit of a shock for you, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Didn't expect to come in to do a exit interview for a tenant and find that.
Steve has been in the termite business 20 years, but the extent of the damage has left him shocked too.
I knew there was a problem. The further I looked into that problem, it became horrific.
He says relentless rain has seen termite infestations explode across Queensland and other heavily hit parts of Australia.
Owners should have a household unit inspected for termites every 6 months, unless they've had a chemical barrier treatment, which is only a preventative. Then that should be inspected every 12 months.
Peter is pointing the finger of blame at the property manager paid to look after the place. But that property agency isn't accepting any liability, telling A Current Affair it did note the termite infestation and posted a report to Peter's family in November.
If the letter had been sent out and they've had no response within a week or a week and a half, they should have been on the phone calling us.
Property solicitor Tim O'Dwyer.
You really need, in a situation like this, to follow up and keep following up till you make sure that your client is fully aware of the seriousness of what you've written to them about.
A few weeks later, we returned to meet termite controller Steve back at the townhouse. Only now, after the white ants have been eradicated, will you be able to see the full extent of the damage.
This is the worst section, do you think, of the townhouse?
Yeah, I believe this is probably the worst. This is the entry point.
Behind the gyprock, a wall of termite mud has all but replaced the timber. And what little is left crumbles apart. This whole timber panel's gone, has it? The beams and bearers have also been eaten away.
And this is a main bearer that supports the joisting for the floor upstairs. They've gone straight through it.
Support poles have even been erected to stop the ceiling collapsing.
I didn't expect that support piece to be quite as hollow as that.
There's nothing left of it.
I'm just really appalled, and I really feel for these people.
Who would you say could be held liable for this disastrous situation?
Clearly, I'd be looking at the agent. But secondly, the body corporate could have some liability, or the strata committee, whatever they're called.
In a text message to Peter, real estate agent Jim Algie told her while they'll assist in every way possible, he believes the body corporate should be held liable for the termite problem.
My God, there's just nothing. I can't believe that. That's just so...
Devastating?
Yeah, absolutely.
For Peter, the damage is worse than she imagined.
It's a mess. It's like, where do you start?
Walls in the laundry, dining and lounge areas, and maybe even the kitchen, will have to be torn down and replaced.
The cost factor is going to be massive.
About $40,000.
Can you afford that?
No, not at all.
She says her family may have to sell up and lose a fortune.
If that comes to the crunch, well then she will. She'll just have to leave it.
Peter Fergus's family is taking legal action in the hope of recouping costs to repair the damage.